Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Trek YT here, or Nick, back with another brand new episode of the Base Showcase series. Today, what I'm going to be doing is bringing you guys a single vault design today. Now, because it is a vault, that means that the base is extremely small and there's not too much to show. But I wanted to give you guys a vault design because I haven't given you guys one for a little bit. And I know there's some of you guys out there that would like some vault designs because not all of you guys are in these massive factions, or maybe even a faction at all, and you just kind of ride solo and just like to I guess troll around and single raid people and not have to worry about the team aspect of factions. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into today's base. So since it's a vault, it's gonna be really small, and it's gonna be one room for the most part, unless you're trying to go a little bit bigger, because typically, when I think of vaults, you want to keep them on the smaller side, so that way the slight chance that someone's X-raying or tracers or whatever the deal is, it's a little bit more difficult for them to find the base, and that's also why I went with dispensers in the base instead of chests. So that way, if someone has chest finder on, then you don't have to worry about that either. Now, obviously, there's probably a bunch of other hacks out there I'm missing, so I don't know 100% sure if this base is like not raid proof, but like really good protected wise. Like, obviously you wouldn't claim a vault, and just I don't know, I tried to go with what I remember about factions, because as many of you guys probably already know, I don't even play factions anymore. I just like the building aspect, and I think building bases is just something that a lot of people tend to not worry about. They just kind of just have the base and it looks kind of crappy on the inside. So what I want to do is make that base a little bit more pretty for you guys. So jumping right into the base, since it is so tiny, I really wanted to maximize as much space as possible, really space management, but I also wanted to make it not feel too small and make it feel a lot bigger than it actually may be. Now, this room is only about, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. For the most part, it's like 6 by 6, but there's this little branch off over there and a little branch over there for the most part, but the base is all enclosed in about a 12 by 12 area, I believe. So the main area is this area right here. I tried to give a little bit of a level change so that way it adds a little bit more grand feeling to the base, as well as I made the ceiling multiple layers and multiple levels of depth to make that feel also a little bit bigger, and I made it a lot taller than like a 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 high ceiling, just so it feels a little bit grander in this base. Now, I went with dispensers because I didn't want to worry about chest finder, so I used dispensers on this whole wall. And the way that I get this really nice texture where it's all the way the same all the way up is I take a dispenser and I place it straight up, and it gives you this side over here, and it looks really nice. So that's why that all these dispensers look the exact same. So I did dispensers on this wall, dispensers over here as well, and then dispensers over here again. Now, on this wall over here, I did add a brewing stand, so maybe you want to brew up a couple pots. It's nothing too crazy. It's not like an auto brewer or anything like that. I just figured, you know, you're a solo guy, maybe you want to brew up a couple pots in your base. I don't know, it's just my thought. I just figured that, you know, try to keep everything that would be in a larger faction base in this vault, so it's like everything is downgraded a little bit, so you still have all those accesses to like anvils, enchanting tables, brewing stands, but it's on a smaller scale for a single person. So I really wanted to try not to keep total flat wall like I did over here, and same over here. I didn't really want to keep these walls flat, so what I did is I put a little back area back here, added a layer of depth, and then use that space to be able to put something there. So that way you still have access to the dispenser in the back right there, especially up here you have this access. It may be a little bit harder than just clicking here and placing in there. I just wanted to really add a little bit more area so that way the base again looked a little bit bigger than it actually was, because you know you only have so much space, so you really got to maximize each little corner, and really that's the main thing, is you want to make the base seem a little bit bigger than it really is. So again, over here I did the same thing. I added a little area. I decided to go with not a functional piece, just a nice little flower pot to add a little bit of decoration to the base, because that's something I really like doing as well. Over here I added some anvils tucked away in this corner. I could have made this a flat red wall, but I figured, you know, that's a little area of space. I haven't put anvils in the base yet, so I'll just throw them in this corner, so that way you guys can repair armor or combine things or just do anything that you would need to do with an anvil. And then lastly over here I added a full enchanting table. You can actually do a level 30 enchant over here. So you just place this in here, 30 enchant. Now, if you wanted to, you could even add maybe like right here, you could add another dispenser. So that way you can go ahead and grab your lapis out of there, or whatever you need that you could store next to an enchanting table, you could put up in that area up there. Now, I'm thinking this base could also be used as a box within a larger faction base. I know a lot of factions don't necessarily trust every single member in that faction, but a lot of those members still want to be partaking in the actual grand massive faction base. So this could almost be a box within the faction base. This is a 12 by 12 area for the most part, so you could actually decorate it like this and then give it to your faction members, so that way they feel a little bit better than just a empty obsidian box with a bunch of chests inside. So this could be that alternative, and if you did that, then since you wouldn't really have to worry about chest finder, you could go ahead and turn all these into chest or double chests, and that would give them some more storage as well. So that's one of those adaptations that you guys can go ahead and do to make this base a little bit more your own, personalize it, and even if you wanted to, you could turn this into more than just a vault, or you could make this a bigger vault. You could kick out some of these walls right here. I left all these almost archways right here, so that way if you wanted to expand further, you could do that as well. Now, since that's kind of all that is in the faction base, we'll go over a little bit of the design feature. You can kind of see that I have very, I don't know what the word is, I have very structural points that are kind of organically placed. So like this one, if it was more or less organic, this block right here over here would be placed right here. Instead of doing that, I offset them a little bit to give it a little bit more of an organic flow inside the base. You can tell there is no pattern to this base. It's kind of all free going, and when you're doing that, it actually makes building a little bit more difficult, or a lot more difficult, because you have to connect pieces of the base. So like I would have to connect this area to this area and make everything flow really, really good together. And by doing that, I actually use arches. That's one of the easiest ways to connect flowing areas that are organic, because you can have one continuous arch and then just have multiple arches stacked next to each other. So that way, if there is an interruption within the flow, you can just make a smaller arch. So like here, this arch goes all the way across, but then I had a little arch right here, and then it kind of flowed again up here, and that's kind of the way that I really flowed together these organic spaces, is with arches, because it's a lot easier than just having a flat roof. So that's kind of what I decided to go with. And then to fill up all the other empty space, I just threw in some foliage on the ground. I really tried to go with almost a more Western style themed base. I tried to mix up the themes. I've been doing a lot of the same overgrown themes in just about all the bases, so I decided to switch it up and make it a Western overgrown theme instead of just a standard forest overgrown theme. I just figured that would be a lot nicer. So this is where we're going to bring today's video and base showcase to a wrap. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy today's base showcase. I'll try to go back to a more larger faction base for next base showcase, and this is actually episode 29, so that means that episode 30 is the next episode. So if we wanted to do maybe a larger 32 by 32 or even maybe larger base, I could do that as like a special episode for hitting another consecutive 10 episodes in a row. So thank you guys again for tuning in today. If you guys haven't already followed my Twitter and Instagram, those are the first couple links in the description, and if you guys haven't left any support down below, please do that. It always helps out. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Peace out.
Can we skip to the good part?